Aziza, hi. Nice to see these new essays from you. Great work. I'm so happy to see you working really hard in order to get ready for IELTS. So good job, and let's see what you wrote. Dear Sir, Madam, I am writing to apologize for skipping such an important exam on math on this date without informing you beforehand. My name is Aziza Navruzova, student number this. I am aware that exams are important for marking and therefore presence is necessary. However, my absence was unavoidable due to the fact that I was ill. Unfortunately, I did not have a doctor's note as I have just moved to a new accommodation and have not yet received information about a clinic assigned to my new place. I was able to visit a doctor today though, and attached his note about me having flu. All right, so Aziza, let's talk a little bit about this. So far, this is fine. Your opening is absolutely accurate. It's fine. I am writing to apologize. This, I would prefer that you didn't refer to skipping an exam. It's just something we use in informal language or conversational language. Instead, you could have said, I'm writing to apologize for my absence from the math final examination on etc., without informing you beforehand. That would have been fine. So it's this part that seems a little informal to me. Okay? Okay, then this is fine when you introduce yourself, no problem. I think you're supposed to mention the case number as well somewhere. I am aware that exams are important for marking and therefore presence is necessary. However, my absence was unavoidable due to the fact that I was ill. I did not have a doctor's note as I had just moved. That's what was wrong here. So I don't have a note, or I didn't have a note because I had just moved. Now this is one of those places where it is important to use the past perfect because the moving occurred before you're needing the doctor's note. Okay? So it's important to show that. And have not yet received information about a clinic assigned to my new place. All right, to my new residence or my new location, my new address, not my new place. Again, it's just not really formal sounding. However, I was able to visit a doctor today, and I have attached his note about my illness, for example. Okay, so you can see that all of these changes really sort of improve the level of English. They make it sound a little more formal, a little less conversational. Alrighty, so let's move on. I would like to require taking an exam on another date if possible. All right, now here I believe you're supposed to make suggestions on what you want. So I would like to request, not require. I would like to request taking the exam on another date if possible. Please take into consideration I have always attended exams and scored quite high marks. Okay, fine. Now, this is really important. When the task tells you to make some suggestions, well, check it out. One suggestion is not enough. So I can't remember exactly what the task said here, but if it said make some suggestions, you have to make more than one. I'm telling you this 100%. If it said make a suggestion, then you're fine with just one. But these are the kinds of little things that you're going to have to pay attention to in the letter. If it says one, ask a couple of questions. If it says ask some questions, then you're not going to be okay with just one question, okay? All right, so moving on. Once again, I apologize for not letting you know in time and look forward to hearing from you soon. This should be yours faithfully, all right, with the faithfully lowercase. All right, so nice job with that on the whole. It's fairly good. That's pretty good, actually, yeah. So let's move on with the next essay. Do copyright laws limit creativity or reward it? Would society function better without such rules or regulations? Whether copyright laws benefit individuals or have more drawbacks has been debatable since their inception. Lovely. I personally believe that regulations around owners' rights have more positive sides than negative, and with the advent of globalization are even necessary. This is really clear. I didn't correct anything. It was accurate, so well done with that, Aziza. In our contemporary world, any kind of information can be spread around the globe in a flash. Surely it has positive implications on the authors of any form of creative work, be it related to music, literature, or anything else, as they can easily be recognized for their talents. But with such opportunity comes also an immense danger. All right, so let's see about this. It's almost perfect. There was one place that there was a little mistake. Surely it has causal implications. For the authors. Okay, not on the authors, but a positive implication for someone. As they can be reasonably recognized for their talents. Fine. Now, I really don't want you to start sentences with the word but. If you want to show some sort of contrast in the beginning of a sentence, you can use however, you can use yet, but really don't use but. We just don't start sentences with it. And then we do in spoken English. This happens all the time. Or in informal English, if we're talking to our friends, writing a letter or something to our friends, or even on the internet, you can see this thing a lot of times. But in an essay of the type that IELTS is, you don't want to start a sentence with but. Okay, so, but with such opportunities, so here you want to say yet. So yet with such opportunities comes also an immense danger. Content, so easily dispersed worldwide, can also be copied by other people, the thought of which definitely is not motivational for authors. For example, a friend of mine has written a few songs when she was just a child. Okay, when she was a child, which she no longer is, so a friend of mine wrote a few songs, Aziza, okay? A friend of mine wrote. However, she never used them because of the lack of trust to producers towards, I guess would be better here, lack of trust towards producers and the legal system, not the law system, the legal system of the country she lives in, which means sadly that she has wasted her talent. Therefore, copyright and patent laws are vital in order to motivate creative people. Okay, it's fine. However, you know what? Here, this kind of summary sentence doesn't really link back to this anymore, does it? I mean, not at least in the first sentence, maybe in the second sentence, though. Okay, so moving along. On the other hand, rules and regulations around owners' rights can discourage people from creating derivative versions of works they do not own. For example, fan fictions and song remixes require specific licenses, otherwise they can be considered as a copyright infringement. Okay. Unfortunately, sometimes they are of the price which is not affordable for everyone. Furthermore, in some cases, there can be difficulties in finding the author. For example, a copyright holder in the United States has up to 95 years of protection. Imagine a young DJ who wants to make a remix of an old song. If the owner is not popular enough, it demands a lot of effort to find him, which in turn discourages the one who came up with the idea of a remix. However, I believe these problems can be mitigated by reducing the price of licenses and, of course, the length of copyright. Okay, so by and large, albeit there do exist some negative sides of copyright regulations, I believe the positive ones are more immense. Now, Aziza, check out what happened here. You had two questions here. You had, do copyright laws limit creativity or reward it? All right. And then you had, would society function better without such rules and regulations? What did you answer here? You essentially answered the benefits of copyright laws and the negatives of copyright laws. So while you did talk about copyright laws, you didn't essentially answer these questions, because here you're telling me that it aids creativity, and then here you're telling me that it doesn't aid creativity, that in fact hinders it. All right, it limits creativity. So really, you've just answered this, and you haven't really answered it because you took both sides of it. So you needed to answer just this in one paragraph, and you needed to spend a paragraph discussing this. So For that reason, there's a problem here with your task response. On the whole, it was nice though. There was some nice grammar, some nice vocabulary. Your structure was very good, but be careful with your task response. Okay? So I'm really glad you wrote these. Please continue writing. Please continue to get feedback. If you have an error correction list, add to it the errors from this essay correction. Send these all back to us with your next essays, and I cannot wait to see more of these from you, Aziza.